a tiny device that senses your motion. As long as you move, you're okay. But if you stop for any reason, it'll zap you like a mother. You will move no matter what, or else you will feel the pain. The device may often false trigger. The belt is very hard to open. It's made of very durable material resistant to sharp objects, and it cannot be cut. So you will run until the batteries die or you die. Just kidding, we have never had failed batteries. Please don't hurt anyone, including yourself. The device is very simple. It runs on 2 AA or AAA batteries and has 2 electrodes on the bottom and turns on with a switch. Now if you don't move, it says...
Look at this, it's like the entire city of New York in here. Let's see if my thermal camera can figure out what's broken. Obviously the heat is coming from that corner of the board. I wonder what it is. How hot is it? Wow, 135 degrees Celsius? So this black chip is broken, and judging by the number of inductors around it, I assume it's the main power supply for the board. I made this simple circuit and I'll plug it in. Now the circuit is hot and the voltage is on the... Something you must never forget is that some capacitors, like electrolytic ones, are polarized, and you must never connect them backwards or they will blow up. Now I have replaced the capacitor on my circuit and I'll plug it in. In addition to polarity, the capacitors must be rated properly to be able to handle the voltage across them, or they will blow up, obvious for you. To measure the 120 volt AC, I put the meter on AC and I measure the voltage. Oh my God! Sometimes when you're probing a line, you might touch the probes, but never forget about the voltage on the probes. And each pair is attached to one of these cables, which we can plug them into the wall power plug. Please join me for the first time to hear how it sounds. And 1, 2, 3, 4. It definitely made me sound like a rock star, although it feels more like an electric chair than a guitar. Here I opened the camera, but the first thing to remember is that there are a lot of bits and pieces and small and large screws that go on the camera. So always remember what those were and store them nicely to avoid losing them. Now let's take a look at the camera here. There are a number of electronic circuits in the camera, and there are connectors everywhere, like this one, a connector here, 2 connectors there, 1 connector here. This is actually a connector, and if you can see, there is a connector under the connector here. And if I flip the camera, and you can see the lens here, and if I remove the lens, you'll see the giant flash capacitor back here. Ow! Piece of shit! Apparently the flash capacitor is holding around 300 volts of charge in it, and it can hurt a lot if you touch it. So I remove the head and rotate it and mount it on the tail by piercing into the tail. Well, never pierce a hole towards your body. This tail is a little bit tough, so I'm going to drill a hole into it. Do not drill, pierce, cut, or do anything dangerous towards your body parts. And if you think the scene we just saw was so fake, lame, and unreal, then let me show you my hand. This is a stab wound from many years ago when I tried to pierce open something with a knife and the knife tripped. And then so for example, if I connect my 12 volt supply here to the primary and charge it and then disconnect it, the voltage of the primary should jump up, creating a huge voltage on the secondary here that should create a spark. Let's try it out. There's nothing. Is there actually a voltage? Well, my theory was right. Obviously there is high voltage on the secondary, but the problem is that that high voltage pulse period is so short it can't create an arc. But there's worse. Let's try it out. Wow, this is wild. You can see how far... It's a strange pain. It's as if somebody is stabbing your finger, but the blade, it doesn't stop there. It keeps going through your veins until it reaches your heart. I love it. I made it look more like a taser by gluing these nails to it. Let's look at it spark now. This gap is quite wide. Let me measure it for you. Well, you know, metal is generally conductive and electrons always find the easiest path to travel. Okay, let me show you how well it works. First, without the anti-pair. If I can just pass these cables under the table here. Always finish your wiring before connecting to your power supply. Now instead I'm going to use my power limited supply up here that will drive this pump that's made of this DC brushed motor here. And it's going to run fluid into the cylinder back here that will move it around. Now I enable the power supply. Always double check your connections.
Lasagna, bitch, lasagna. T-Series ain't nothing but lasagna, bitch, lasagna. T-Series ain't nothing but